Greetings all! Mike Moore here, CEO of Homemade Simulators Incorporated, and welcome to my channel. Right now I'm going to share with you a video presentation of how it is I plan on making my very own homemade simulator ride and 4D theater system so that I may enjoy such great rides as Back to the Future, Batman, Spider-Man, The Terminator, and so much more. And hopefully will inspire many of you theme park and 3D enthusiasts to do the same thing if you aren't already. So hopefully you'll get some ideas, some inspiration with some of the ideas I'm going to share with you today. So the first thing, the number one important thing that you must have, that you must acquire for your homemade simulator project is a projector. I was at a friend's house watching a projected ride film on a very large screen, and it took up my entire peripheral vision. Now, even though I wasn't actually physically moving, I was completely still, I actually felt like I was in the ride. Now, before this, for years, I've always wanted a projector anyways, to watch movies on, play video games on, etc. But once I saw this, then I was hooked, then I knew that's what sparked the idea. Pandora's box was opened, and for the past few years, I've been planning out how I'd make my own simulator ride work. And of course, the first thing that came to mind was my favorite ride of all time, Back to the Future. So after watching that ride film, I was like, wondering where I can find and acquire even more ride films for when I did get a projector. So, I could have several ride experiences and not just have one and do it over and over again. So I took the footage that I took of Back to the Future the ride, which is on my channel. But of course it didn't work too well because the footage wasn't all that great, and then there's the flicker and the actual movie, etc., etc. And this is a few years ago, like I said, way before they released the ride footage on DVD. But I did know that on eBay they were selling bootleg copies of Back to the Future the ride. So now I had a real reason to buy it, because I could use video from that and any future release, possible future release of Back to the Future the ride, to put together my own Back to the Future the ride. And the main thing that really motivated me to want to do this, other than, well, I'll explain. You could watch just the ride footage on a projector, sure, especially the new release footage with the in-dash footage to go along with the movie. But it just doesn't do it justice, because it's all one piece, all one screen, whereas if you're riding the ride, you're in a vehicle that's a separate element from the actual ride film. And I knew I couldn't just watch the ride film itself. It just wouldn't be the same without the in-car footage of Doc Brown interacting with you and interacting with Biff. So that's when I came up with the idea of I have to make a separate ride vehicle so that I could have an in-car monitor just for Doc Brown and be a separate element from the actual ride film. And that's what got this whole thing started. So, like I said, for the projector, it was, let's say, 12 foot long by 7 foot high. And like I said, if you're close enough and it takes up your entire peripheral vision, any ride film that you watch, you'll feel like you're in it. So, bam, right off the bat, if you got yourself a projector, you got yourself a simulator starter kit. Just play any simulator ride you want, sit back, relax, put some fans off to the side so they're blowing in your face to add to the illusion of feeling like you're really flying, because that's how mine is going to be. So, yeah, so got to get a projector, and I made a little miniature mock-up of what it's all going to look like and everything like that. And it's right over here. There it is. Now please excuse the crudity of this model. I didn't have time to scale or to paint it. So this is going to be what I'm going to call or refer to as the simulated simulator, or the SS. And it's a little bit wider. So it's definitely not proportioned. But on the outside, it's going to be painted and drawn up to look like the 8-passenger DeLorean. Same thing with the interior. It's going to look just like the 8-passenger DeLorean. The only big difference is the seats aren't going to be gray. They're going to be black, and it's going to be a 4-seater, because I'm planning on building this thing to work indoors in this small apartment living room. And the sheet is going to go there, from that wall to that wall, ceiling to floor. And it's going to be designed and built in such a way, or at least hopefully, to where once you're sitting inside the simulator, the SS, and you're right up on that screen, to where the vehicle itself will restrict your vision as to being able to see the edges of the screen, to be able to see where the screen starts and ends. So from your point of view in the vehicle, you're not going to see the screen like that. You're going to see it like that. So it'll be nothing but screen to give the illusion of open space and air. Because you can watch a simulator movie on a screen, but that won't do the job, because you know you're watching a TV. You can see the frame. It just doesn't work. So it's got to be as large of a projection as you can get. And as I said, it's going to be a 4-seater, and I'm very excited because I just recently ordered the seats that I know that I'm going to use for it, and they're here. Check them out. These are the seats right there. Like I said, a 4-seater with black seats, but they're pretty comfortable. And I'm going to have, of course, they're not going to be sitting on the ground like that. I'm going to have them elevated. And I thought my original idea was to have vibrating seats. But to make a long story short, I thought probably the way to do that is to have speakers with the speaker facing up underneath the seat, so you can see, you can hear and feel the experience as it's happening. And hopefully with a powerful enough of an amp, it'll make that happen. So these are lawnmower / tractor seats. I paid $240 plus shipping to get all 4 of them. So these will be inside the SS, as you can write in there. And I'm going to have the, of course, the LCD in-car monitor footage of Doc talking to you for the Back to the Future ride, my version. And I'm even going to have a complete pre-show. And of course, as I, through each step of the process, build this thing, I'm going to post video updates on everything that I'm doing and everything that's going on. So today I'm probably going to shop around and or experiment with how I'm going to raise these seats up. And then once I do that, then I'll be able to get an estimate of how long it's going to be and how tall and the sizes of wood I need to buy. I would say, judging by the seats, and I'm going to use my trunk to be the front console, it's probably going to be about 6 to 7 feet long. It's going to be at least 36 inches wide because the seats are 18 inches each. And of course, the sides are going to go to where they're going to be above your head, to where you know you're going to look to your left, your right, and you're going to be encased in this thing. And of course, the roof is going to be have the option to be removed completely. So now imagine this, you know, no roof, and it's just sides and a back. For example, for the Spider-Man ride, in the part, if you've ever been on it or seen it, where you're being levitated by Dr. Octopus in between buildings, and you can see and feel yourself going up 40 stories. I'm going to have a fan overhead blowing down to really mix in and add with that to really give the feel of you actually rising. So just the basic mock-up using a Sugar Bowl brand pack of sugar box. But in proportion, like I said, and with the screen is going to overtake the vehicle. So from the point of view of the car, it'll be the same as if you were on the Back to the Future the ride. And I'm running out of time here, so I'll cut it right about here, and I'll keep you posted and updated on my homemade simulator project, and hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you guys later.